Hey dudes, today we're going to do a little bit of a throwback from when I was gifted a paletteful pack. Not from paletteful packs themselves or anything, but from Shelby. So Shelby, if you happen to see this, thank you very much. As you can see, the theme of this box is very watercolor and ink based. Oh, and I love that paintbrush. I didn't realize it came from the paletteful pack, but yeah, that is a good paintbrush. And that sticker ended up on my toolbox. So naturally, when getting new supplies, I swatched them out. I had never used markers like this before. Watercolor and water-based supplies in general are actually kind of difficult for me. I've always kind of struggled with them, but I do remember really liking these markers. I think I would just have to use them a little bit more in a cel-shaded fashion, because trying to blend them did tear up the paper pretty easily. I think the watercolor inks came a little bit more naturally to me because I just pretended that it was just another India ink situation. And I also really loved that color in the middle, that kind of teal-y blue? Is that teal? I don't know, but here you can see kind of blending these markers was very difficult. I don't really think that's what they're used for. Whereas creating a blendy gradient with the inks was a lot more successful. It took a little bit extra work, but you know, it looks really nice. Got a little bit of a close-up of how these colors laid down. Like I said, I really liked those markers, and now I'm kind of inspired to break them out and try something new again. For me, the most exciting part of this video is that this is my character Crom. This was extremely early in his character development. I don't know if this is his first appearance, but it's definitely early on. And it's just really cool to see me draw him before I really knew what his character was about. He doesn't make an appearance in this one, but he is best friends with my other character, Ebo. But the world that they live in is fairly monotone, and for reasons unknown, Crom's smokestacks are always exuding the most brilliant of colors. So this particular paletteful pack was like perfect for Crom. That was also a technique I had never tried before. I've seen other watercolor artists lay down like a wash of water, and then gently place in the paints to kind of let them dance around each other. I think it was like half successful for me. But I mean, for a first attempt it turned out well enough that I did try it again later. So I mean, that's a win. And then naturally I did have to come up with an actual illustration to make with these supplies. But I wanted to know if I could blend these markers in a more illustrative situation, by laying down the markers and then taking a wet paintbrush and trying to blend them that way. And if I remember right, it was one of those things where it didn't work as well as I wanted it to, but it also gave me little glimpses of it maybe working, so I tried it anyway. But I will say all of the supplies in this box felt like high quality. If there were any shortcomings or any mistakes being made, it was definitely on my part. And I've actually used the watercolor inks a few times since I got this box, but I haven't gone back to the Ecoline markers, and I think the only reason for that is that I'm just a little bit intimidated by this supply. I just haven't figured it out. But I mean, why would I expect myself to figure it out if I don't try them again? So now I want to try them again. I've inspired myself, that's fun. So like I said, I'm not well versed in anything watercolor, so I don't know if the paper trying to pill from these markers is coming from the lack of quality in paper, or if I was just using the markers too aggressively. So I think I'd like to try these markers on my 100% cotton, like my good paper, and see if there's any difference. I've been told in the past that when it comes to watercolor, it's better to have fancy paper than fancy paints. So I'd like to put that to the test. I do remember when making this that there were moments where I felt like I was understanding how to use the supply, and then I would try and recreate that moment and it didn't work out. So it's definitely not something that comes natural to me. But I do really like how those mushrooms look in the background. But it might just be because I, as a person, really like gray more than I really like bright colors, so the gray mushrooms really speak to me. That's not to say that I can't appreciate a good bright color. I know there's a lot of hate for the whole millennial gray thing. But I don't know, I've just always been a person that's preferred black, grays, and whites. That being said, if I ever got in a position where I could actually choose the colors of my own home, there would be actual colors. But I'm getting pretty off topic. My delusional decor plans of a fantasy kitchen I'll never have are not important. Oh look, I'm giving that method from earlier another try. I would say on that one it might be a little bit too much water, it looks pretty washed out. It's still super satisfying to look at though. I like how on that one it has a little bit more of a directional movement, that looks cool. And luckily the colors that came in this set are actually colors that I do enjoy. I do like blues and greens. So that really worked out. And I always like to show a shot before the line work because I feel like the line work changes it so much. It's fun to see the transformation. I remember having a lot of fun with this whole project. Honestly, I don't get to try a lot of new art supplies very often. And when I do, it's because of the generosity of you guys. Just because I don't really have the expendable income to be trying out new stuff. But if I did, I guarantee you I would be spending it on subscription boxes. I think they are so fun and so novel and such a great way to exercise your creativity. It's just, you know, not super accessible if you also have to worry about groceries. Which is a great lead into me saying thank you once again for everybody. To Shelby for the paletteful packs, to those that have gotten me things off of my wish list, and to those that simply just watch and support. I'm just so incredibly lucky and grateful to be sharing my art with you guys. And I know the videos are a little bit inconsistent and all over the place lately, but I am figuring it out. If you made it to the end of the video, I hope you like what you see, and I will see you next time. Later, Tater!